You know the drill. You buy the ticket, you take the ride. Hey, welcome back to the Morning Buzz with me, Jimmy. It's hotter than hell out today. Oh my God, I'm cutting sleeves, cutting shirts, cutting pants, cutting shoes, whatever it takes. Cut the top off my car with a welder and a acetylene torch. That's a joke. But anyway, we went back to the local scene today. I'll tell you how I came across this because I almost killed people in the process, and not even on purpose for once. So I woke up one morning and I go to the post office every day because I have a PO box. So every day I wake up, go to the post office. Well, the one morning I think it was Saturday. Yeah, Saturday morning I wake up, driving to the post office. I go to turn left and put on my turn signal, go to hit the gas, and the road's closed, and there's about 200 people sitting on the street with all these tents, and I about mowed them all over. So I go to the post office to go home, and I'm like, well, I want to go see what that is. Come back, check it out, and I see kids, but they have a band going, and they're good. And this kid singer was just phenomenal. He was doing Michael Jackson, but could dance like him. And I think he was 9 or 10 years old. And it was just, I stood there in amazement. And then I actually was able to meet the guy who runs this academy at the YMCA in town. And, for youth doing music, which is awesome. So I figured, why not talk to him? So I got John. I hope I don't butcher this. Phillippi.
Yep.
Yeah. From my hometown here today. Nick, you got him. Thanks, man. Welcome.
How we doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Doing good.
What is new?
Not much. Just trying to stay cool. Summer finally hit, and it's getting swampy.
It is horrible. It is horrible. And and I thought about this earlier too. We were talking about this a little bit ago. I used to be a big guy,
Right.
and I was sitting in my car and I was just sweating, and I was just like, man, if I was still 350 pounds, I can't even fucking imagine what I would feel like right now. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm like, it sucks. Yeah, I can always be, you know what I mean? You can always add layers, when you're cold, but you can only, and then it gets illegal eventually,
Right. People, you get looks.
Yeah,
You
definitely get looks, especially around here, So tell me a little bit about the academy, man. That was awesome to run into.
Right on. Well, it was born more of a necessity. Let me clear my throat here. Gotta love the allergies. But anyways.
Yeah, I know.
It was born out of a necessity. A lot of kids were going around saying, hey, I want to learn how to play music, blah, blah, blah. But long story short, we started a base of kids that wanted to play guitar. I was their teacher. By no means am I amazing. Try to stay humble. But I love music, everything about it. So started teaching them music. Then we had some kids come in and were like, hey, I want to do drums. So next thing you know, I'm finding a drum instructor. Then I'm finding a violin instructor. Then I'm finding a piano instructor and onward. Before the whole COVID situation, we probably had about 60 students going and 3 student bands, which was absolutely awesome because these are cats from 7 to 16 years old.
Oh, that is awesome.
And they're playing the good stuff. They'll try to get into the new music. I'm like, no. Let's go back a little bit. And they're starting set lists. And I'm like, look, you guys give me a half hour. I can get you a show to start playing. So that was kind of born from there. Once again, before COVID, we had 3 bands going and they all had a coach, guys like me, and would take them out and would put them on not on the road. It was local, but to them,
what
it was
were the names
huge.
of those bands?
The first one we had was the Vinyl Stripes.
Okay, Avery, the drummer.
Avery's in it.
I actually jammed with him a few times. I know. I went to school with his mom and dad.
Yeah,
yes,
he's great, man. He's awesome.
Yes, he is.
And them guys kind of grew up and did different things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. As you would at that age,
right. Girlfriends, boyfriends, what have you. Then we had My Generation, and that's our youngest band. And like I said, these guys are 8 to 14, 15 years old.
That's so fantastic.
And then we had another band that hung out for a while. I believe they were called something like Point Blank or something. They maybe did 1 or 2 shows. But long story short, with them, a lot of those kids didn't really. They wanted to be a musician and a star, but then they didn't realize what you had to go through to do it. So it kind of pushed them away. So we didn't want to push them. But right now we got My Generation. That's the guys you saw down there. and they're going strong. You know,
Oh,
they're
no,
really
they
they're
do a good
loving it.
job too,
Yeah,
man. And that kid singing and just fireball, man, a
absolutely,
fireball.
absolutely.
Like it was just awesome to run into
Hmm.
because, as you know, this scene around here, one, it sucks. It's a little biased right now, and when I was growing up, there was 10, 15 bands. I was in two of them, you know what I
Sure.
mean? And there was like everybody, you know, you had to pick who was you were seeing on the weekends, not, you know,
Yeah.
that's where they're playing this weekend.
Right. And
And
it's totally different. And really there's nobody nipping at our heels. You know, I'm 45 years old and I've played in a lot of bands, but there's nobody knocking on our door saying, "Hey, we want this show." You know, it's all kind of the rehashed
yeah.
same old, same old.
Hmm.
So part of that whole Academy of Music is like, well, let's give these kids a love of music and let's show them how awesome it is, because you've done it too, to be on a stage and be appreciated with the stuff you're giving them. And, you know, once that fire's lit, you know as well as I do, it's on.
Yeah,
And it
I
goes.
said this the other night. I had a drug problem for years,
Sure.
but there's no drug on this earth that makes you feel like you do when you're on stage in front of people.
Absolutely.
There's nothing that feels like that, man.
Absolutely.
And when you're not on it, you fucking miss it so bad.
110%.
You crave it.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Well, there
Yeah.
were kids that were doing a lot of lessons and playing a lot live in these bands. And once COVID hit, you know, these kids were falling into a little bit of a depression. They're like, "Well, John, what are we going to do here?" And I'm like, "Well, we can get practices, but you got to stay 6 feet away." So I'm setting them up in the gym real far away. You know, my drum instructor, Wade, he's like, "The parents don't even want to come in." And I'm like, "Man, this is tough." But we kind of kept it going. Luckily we did, because
Well,
if you're not playing, it's just, it's a rabbit hole and you can go down it
yeah.
real quick.
And, you know, and that can be the thing to lift you out too.
Yes. Yep.
I was in a dark spot a few months ago, and I hadn't played since I was in the whole band we were both in at the one time.
Sure.
And since I had left there, and I hadn't touched my bass, whatever, I went out and bought a new Fender for P bass, and I was like, I'm buying that, and I'm fucking learning. Like I want to play now.
Heck
Like,
yeah.
and
Heck yeah.
I got it, dude, and it's been daily, like hours daily. Like,
Yep. It's a love. It really is.
yeah,
And it like, for me, more than anything, like I have a little studio in my house. I have a family of 5, and I mean, the hustle and bustle just in that in itself is crazy. And then you got everybody working their jobs and doing their thing. I got a girl graduating, but at the same time, it's like I can just go to my little sanctuary and just let it rip.
yeah.
You know, put my headphones on and just go.
Yeah, and you like honestly, you leave the world, man.
That's
Like,
right. That's right.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I never understood the people who like don't listen to music. You know what I mean? Like they're
Yeah.
like, I just put on the radio or whatever's playing in the background, and I'm like, how the fuck? How do you do that? Like to get a shower, like I have to have a playlist. To
I
do
do
this,
that.
I have to
Yep.
play like
Yep.
like everything involves a playlist. You know what I mean? Like yeah, like no, it's everything. Music's involved with everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, some of the times when we get a student in there, the first thing I ask them, I'm like, "What do you love?" No, some of the kids are like, "Oh man, AC/DC, you know, Metallica, the normal run of the mill stuff." But some kids are like, "I don't know." So that's kind of when I turn on. It's like, okay, you don't know, so I'm going to show you everything.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you country. I'm going to show you polka. I'm going to show you, like, here's punk rock. You know, here's your rock scenario. Okay, now pick.
Yeah.
The world's yours. Where do you want to go?
Right.
You see that little gleam in their eye, and they go down a road, and it's like,
And they can even like pick two and like
oh my,
find,
absolutely,
you know, two that mesh
absolutely.
together. And it's just, I know, dude, what a world. It's so cool. So cool. Like, I don't know, even just doing this thing, like just talking to people I never even thought I'd even come in contact with. It's just like, holy shit. Like this guy knows me by name now. Like it's crazy.
Right.
But you know, then you tell people and they're like, well, who the fuck's that? And I'm like, well, sorry, you know, he's not in Kansas, and like he wasn't on the radio during in the 70s, so never mind.
Right.
Like it's cool. He wasn't in Bon Jovi, so we'll just get past it all now.
Yeah. Well, I think we're all past our prime. We're not going to be rock stars. We are who we are. You know?
Right.
So just have fun and do it. That's where I'm at right now.
That's the same here, man. You know, this nobody gets paid to do this. Like, you know,
Yeah.
Nick stays up every Friday night editing this show like all night long, and then I stay up to helping him till about 4, go home, sleep like 2-3 hours, and then get up to do the live chat when it comes on at 10. Like,
Yeah.
but you know, and then interviewing and booking, like it's a process. It's timely. Like, but I love it. Like I
Right on.
love every bit of it. And then last night, the girls from Pennsylvania announced that they got the Voodoo Glow Skulls now. So they got a big band every night for this DIY. They got Bigwig, Voodoo Glow Skulls, and the Queers.
All right.
The headline every night of the festival. It was something was just to start it out like as a local band thing.
Sure. And it just kind of grew.
Yeah, they got the one man, and now they have bands like big bands knocking on the door like we want to play too. We want to play, and it's like just snowballed. And I was like, good for you guys because they worked their ass off too. Like they faced some adversity for a while too. We get with it, and like didn't even know if they could do it or not, and like they fucking did it. Like,
Right.
and good job to you guys. When if you're watching this, like kick ass job because
Well, I think we're in a limbo too, because if you think about it, before COVID, music was my career. That's how I made music, or not music, but that's how I made money.
right.
And, that was my thing. After that, it just shut off. So I had to obviously look for other potentials. But now it seems it's starting to pick back up, and we're kind of in that no man land because they don't want to book the big bands yet, but they want to book the big bands, but all the big bands are ready to get out there. So it's kind of like, all these horses are at the gate ready to roll. And it's kind of, I'm wondering what the scene's going to be like, because when we came out of it, I played in a country band for 7 years. At the time,
And God bless you for that.
I know, but at the time that was the ticket, that got me to Nashville multiple times. I was doing big NASCAR shows.
No, that's awesome.
And that's one of the reasons why I did that. But now, that roller coaster went down, and now something else is like another monster is peeking its head.
Yeah.
And I think we're at that transition now. It's like, well, what's it going to be?
Right. And it could even be something where like, you're not paying out the ass for tickets anymore.
Right,
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it could physically change the scene altogether. Like every
Absolutely.
scene,
Yep.
in a cool way too, we're not getting ripped off anymore because I mean, in a sense, we're getting ripped off. Like, I don't know. The punk rock bands, I will say, most of them, they don't charge. I don't like the most I pay is like to see Bad Religion, which is $40. Like, and usually they have a really good opener too. So
Sure,
it's like I'm
sure.
paying $40 for two good bands, and like, I'm paying $40 for a good band and the fucking best band, and like, so that's how I see it. But
I
like,
remember paying $25 for Manson down at the Crowbar. I mean,
Yeah, dude,
and then we saw Guar like 2 weeks later.
I have 2 pages of Crowbar tickets from when I was in Stone High School, and like, dude, $10, $8, like
many
Misfits
bands.
was $12 at one point.
Right.
Yeah. And then I have a ticket to when they came back to Jersey with Danzig 2 years ago. That one was $300.
Oh.
Yeah, and I sat in the balcony.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
At Crowbar.
No, this was in New Jersey. Their hockey arena for the Devils.
Okay.
Yeah, like sold out. It was like almost $1,000 to be on the floor because it was our first East Coast show in 30 years.
That's pretty cool.
It was cool to be there, but holy shit, man. It was expensive. Never
That's
do
a
it
little
again.
pricey,
Yeah,
for sure,
yeah.
for
Well,
sure.
my friend definitely like took care of most of the shit, so I was like, oh yeah, thank God, because I don't have that kind of money. Not
I think
for
the
one
most
show.
I paid for a show was Van Halen, and it was like $250, and we went to Philly, and that was one of the last shows that they did at Philly there. So
Yeah, and like I don't know, the Misfits was like the band that got me into punk rock.
Right
too,
on.
so it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like I don't know, it was just necessary.
it's your home. You
Yeah.
gotta be there.
And I said
Absolutely.
when I was a kid, since I was a kid, I'm like, Danzig ever gets back, I'm like, and they play on the East Coast, I will be there. And I did, man. I did. I held through. So kudos to me for hanging on to 16-year-old Jimmy that said something stupid while I was drunk at a party, But I did it. But yeah, man, like I don't know. Like I do hope it changes like the scene for the good because like I don't know, like people like Kiss, like and my buddy loves Kiss and like
Right.
I get it, whatever. But like, we shouldn't still be paying $200 some to see these old men like
Right.
dress up in makeup.
Well, now it's a nostalgia thing. I went to a Kiss show just to say it was kind of a bucket list thing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I grew up on them, and I knew what they were about, and I knew what they did, and it didn't set me on fire. But at one point, I'm like, all right, these cats are in their 70s. I got to at least see them once. That's one of the things I miss about like the Grateful Dead, or just some of the old cats that aren't around anymore. It was more of a nostalgia. All right, I got
Yeah.
to see Kiss.
Well, that's like with Bad Religion, like this is
Yeah.
their 42nd year as a band. And I know like I've seen them 7 times now, but
Right.
like it's pump as many as you can in the next couple of years because it's not lasting much longer. Like
Right.
there's just, it's just age gets you, know,
Right.
and it sucks, but it is what it is. And I actually, this has helped too because I found newer, younger bands finally in my life because before this, I was like listening to the same, 10 bands for the last 20 years kind of thing.
Been there. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was hard to find new stuff, but I found almost every band that's come on this show, and this by luck that I actually like really fucking like, and I'm like,
That's
this
cool.
I'm like, this is awesome. And Canada has fucking wonderful punk rock, man, like very good stuff.
Really cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, and I no clue. I never even
Right.
thought about it. Who would have thought? Yeah, I know. Like other places. Like, yeah, I got to get out of the box sometimes.
Well, I think too, like I was down in Florida. I lived a couple years, and I'm sitting at a bar at St. Patty's Day, and this band, it was like a marching band, started coming down the road. I'm like, there's a dude's behind them. What's going on? And it was a Dropkick Murphys, and they literally walked into this bar with a marching band in front of them. And I didn't know who these cats were, but right now I'm sold. I'm like, they're coming in with a marching band. Hello. And that was their entrance into the damn bar. And from then on, I'm like, all right, where do I sign? You know what I mean?
You said bucket list. I had this punk rock bucket list. The last band on it was Dropkick Murphy.
There you go.
2018. I didn't have a license. I took a train to Chicago by myself to stay with people I met 2 months ago to see the Murphys, and I fucking killed that bucket list. But I did it. And man, what a live show. Like super good. Yeah. Yeah, they were awesome. My buddy pushed me right to the front too the whole time, but it was wild. Definitely worth it, every bit of it.
Yeah, I think there was maybe 50 people in this bar when they started. And I turned around and the whole town was just people after that. So luckily I was in the right spot at the right time because I didn't know them. You know, and then next thing you know, I'm like, okay, I'm going to find their music immediately.
Yeah. and I love finding bands like that because I always try to check out the opening bands too, just because like, you know, there's always, you know, there's definitely find a lot of shitty ones too. And
Sure.
not necessarily shitty. They're just music that's not for you.
Right.
But like you find probably more of those but sometimes you find some real diamonds in the rough, you know? Some real good stuff too. Like, I don't know, stuff that can become some of your favorite bands. Like, you're like, where do these guys even come from? You know what I mean? Like, it's cool though. Like, there's so much to offer out there, especially now, like since the pandemic, 'cause everybody's been writing, everybody's been, you know, like they haven't been had shit to do because they haven't been touring.
Well, what I'm finding too is I have this one kid just started lessons with me. He's 10. And he's like, well, I'm learning this guitar from Rocksmith. It's a game.
Yeah.
And I'm old school. I'm the rewind the tape and listen to it 100 times. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, come on in. 10-year-old gets in here and I'm like, all right, dude, show me what you got. He's doing sweeps and he's doing all these crazy arpeggios. And I'm like, wait, where did this come from? And where are you? And are you an alien? 10-year-old kid from a game. That isn't our, that's not our genre.
But this game, actually, you plug a real instrument.
You're plugging a real instrument into it and you're getting down. And there's a lot of kids. It's just like they're walking in and I'm like, dude, you're past me. I'm like, you're going to teach me stuff in a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool.
It's crazy.
But I was bitching about this a couple episodes ago. I saw a thing too now, but you can strap it to a guitar and hit buttons and it'll push the chords down for you.
I've seen that.
That's bullshit, man. That is bullshit.
You don't get the calluses on your fingers or anything.
Just get that out. If I saw somebody play that, I'd probably kick the guitar out of their hand.
Yeah,
like,
they're at a picnic and want to impress their girlfriend.
Exactly.
Playing Oasis or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking Wonderwall over and over again. Exactly. Yeah, like get out of here. Just don't even. Well, I don't know. If I had to use that, I'd be embarrassed.
But I bet that dude's rich.
No, for sure.
I mean, whoever invented that, they're like, yeah. It's a shtick or whatever you want to call it. And next thing you know, it's.
But that Rocksmith thing, I was a general manager at Papa John's one time for a while. And one of my delivery guys was like, he played bass too. And he was like, Jimmy, you got to check this out, man. It's cool. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I don't need another Guitar Hero. Like fuck that game. You know what I mean?
Right.
Same here. I was like, I don't need that bullshit. He's like, no, he's like, come check it out. So one day I was like, fuck it, I'll go watch.
Yeah.
I went in and he plugs his fucking bass. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, plugging my bass in. I'm like, to the game. And he's like, yeah, you use a real instrument. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh no, this is cool. Like, and then what did he play? I can't, but it was something, it was pretty fucking technical. And he's just, and I'm just like, shit, dude. Like, that's not a bad idea. Like,
technology's gone crazy. I mean, even YouTube, all those jam tracks and everything, and teach it like, and no matter what song is, if you want to learn how to play it, I guarantee you, there's 50 cats online that can play it and show you how.
Yeah, and 70 more that tabbed it out for you if you want to. Yeah, and if you can read music, it is, man, it is. But it's sad though because I feel like it's a less creative time too.
It is
because so much is just easily available. Like, and that, I feel like it's dulled a little bit. Like if people like because they kind of they don't have you kind of be lazy about it. You know what I mean? Like it's right there.
Well, the market almost kind of gets diluted too because in my mind everybody wanted to be a guitar player and then a bass player and then the drums. But now it's like even at the academy, the keyboard and the piano is almost a dying dinosaur. And I'm telling kids, I'm like, if you want a job in music the rest of your life, learn the piano for crying out loud because how many of them are around here? I mean,
Right.
there's so many guitar players in this town. We're a dime a dozen,
Yeah.
you know, and all of them can play better than me. I'm cool with that. But the same sense, it's like, man, if I would learn how to play the keys,
Yes.
boom, you know, it's a job.
Yeah, and like you can transfer piano to every fucking instrument,
Yeah.
like, you know, so
Yeah.
easily too, man. Like,
Yeah.
and which I wish I did. I've been just my buddies in high school needed a bass player.
Sure.
Like had like my 10th trip to the hospital after my 10th BMX wreck, and I was over it. So I went and bought a bass, and like, and that's just what I've done. Like, and that's the only instrument I've ever really messed with. I've never
Right on.
went over to guitar, but I love it, man. And the bass player, you know, he's never the one with chicks or, you know, gets any attention or nothing. That's fine with me.
Yep.
More
I
than
just
fine.
want to play.
Yeah, it's me too.
Yep.
I just want to groove, man. I like it. I don't care if anybody's looking at me. I just want to be on the stage. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like, it's just,
I
I don't
prefer
know.
to be out of the. Like,
Yeah, I
you
know.
just-
Just let that singer do
long as you
whatever he
can hear
wants.
me, I'm good.
Yeah. As long as I'm thumping, I'm okay. But turn that shit up, you know? Because that's the, and then like, you know, you've definitely played the gigs too, where like, you know, you got the sound guy where
Sure.
he doesn't know dick about sound. He's just an
And that
employee
could make
there.
or break it, man.
Yeah,
I've been to
yeah.
so many.
Same here, man.
We
Like-
were booked this one show. It's a funny story. Our country band a couple years back, and they're like, "Oh, it's for Penn State. It's going to be at this big field, and this guy runs Thawne. You know, it's this and that." And this was way back, and I honestly don't know the cat's name. And we're like, "Well, look, we're a big 5-piece band. I mean, we got 21, you know, things on our snake, and 8 of them alone are just for the drums." I was like, "Are you going to be able to handle this?" Oh, no problem, no problem. Well, we get there, and there's a little pup tent set up with 2 Radio Shack speakers and a 5-channel board.
Oh,
And it's just like, man, you know, some people just don't get it.
No.
It's like, we can't do this. It's like, what do you want us to do?
yeah, and then they look at you like you're crazy. What do you mean?
This is the state of the art stuff. It's like, no.
No, they think that in their heads, you just bring this little amp, plug your stuff in, and magically everything just.
Exactly.
And that is so not the case.
hmm And we've even had sound men get prissy with us, so to speak, because we weren't the headlining band or whatnot. And it's like, I know
Yeah,
my
and
sound
it's-
can be a lot better. What the heck's going on? He's over there looking on his phone, doing his thing. And it's just, come on, man.
Yeah, I got my mic turned off one time for swearing.
Okay.
Like literally
okay.
turned me down so they couldn't hear me talk. Or, like I'm like, are you fucking? But everybody else was fine. You know what I mean? To
They
say
just
or
didn't
do
want you to
whatever.
do it.
Yeah, it was just me for some reason. I was just like, fuck you. Like,
Now, I've also been on the other spectrum of that, running sound for bands where I've had to pass notes to the lead singer saying, you need the bass player to turn down because he's vibrating glasses off the shelf at the back of the bar. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because
Yeah.
he wasn't having it. And it's like, well, you got to do something or they're shutting us down.
yeah. Well, like keep in mind, my grandmother was at this show, so it wasn't like I was going off on a tangent. Okay,
There you
like my
go.
80-some-year-old grandmother was at this show.
If she
so,
can
like,
handle it.
That's
right,
what I
right.
mean. Like I wasn't going off on an F-bomb tangent by any
Right.
means. Like no, that's why I was just like, are you kidding me? Like because I've done so much worse. Like
Sure.
you know what I mean? They're like one of those things. We played at a bar like out like 53 way, like Wittenburnish kind of area, and I
Mhm.
remember it was that is definitely not the punk rock mecca of America.
Sure.
And I just remember it got to the point where it's like, you fucking hated that one, you're really gonna hate this one. And then it was all night like that, you know. And then
Mhm.
they told us never to come back.
We had a band back in the day called Sutra, and we did a little East Coast tour, and it was an original heavy rock band, so to speak. And our manager got us this show where it was like somewhere in Johnstown. We weren't sure, and it was like Mount Aloysius College. We're like, oh, cool, we're going to a college. And we show up, and all the guys are smoking cigarettes, and I had a big chew in, and we show up, and it's a cancer concert. You know, it's like a benefit concert for cancer, and they stop us in our tracks. They're like, guys, get rid of the cigarettes, get rid of the chew. I'm like, okay, and then we're doing this, and they're like, does any of your songs have swear words? And I'm just like, who booked this thing? You know, we were in the wrong place at the wrong time. They ended up like turning their backs on us while we were playing, you know, because we were a heavier band. We weren't into but you know, you just get booked at the wrong place at
Yeah.
the wrong time sometime, and you
Bob's country fucking.
Yeah,
you
you
gotta play
gotta play
rawhide.
country and
yeah.
western.
Yeah. You gotta play rawhide sometimes, man. Sometimes, you know, key A.
It was the wrong place, wrong time. And we literally ran out of that place as quick as we could. I think I even left like a couple pieces of my, you know, stage stuff there.
Yeah.
It's like, let's go.
I've been there too, man. Like, yeah, like I told you about, well, you know, we mentioned this, the good sound guy before, Steve.
Yeah.
And like, you know,
Oh, he's a beast.
yeah, and like my guitarist for some reason thought that our heavy metal band would be good opening up for his classic rock band, and I was like, And obviously that's not a good fit. Obviously the crowd was like, what the fuck? Because I was playing it and I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like
Just
this is,
doesn't fit.
no, it's
Yeah.
not right. Like, why did you book this? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and it just was like the same thing. I was just like, get my shit and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm ready. My mom's like, you don't want to watch none of that? I said, I don't want to watch them set up. I was like, let's go.
Right.
Because at the time I was 15. So like I didn't
Sure,
have my mom
sure.
sign me into the bar, which was cool because a
Mhm.
kid, like that's one of the cool things I did get to do. This place we're actually in, I was actually, when it was a kids like club or whatever, an under 18 club, it
Yeah.
was called Kickers for a while.
Really?
My
Really?
band was the house band here.
There you
We
go.
played once a month. Yeah. Yeah, it got packed here. One time my girlfriend at the time got leveled and got like 7 stitches in her head and we had to stop the show because an ambulance
Jeez.
came. Yeah, good times.
That's a party.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was fun. It was heavy metal, Eventually, I grew out of the screaming, though. I'm just like, oh my God, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm over it. Like, it's just like, it's almost laughable when I got old, you know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, it's just like,
Right.
just calm down, buddy.
Well, I think we all go through that as musicians too. We want to prove ourselves, and I guess my phase was like the Metallica and the Misfits, and just you're chugging on the guitar or the bass all the time, and after a while you realize, all right, people want to change up, and then I don't want to say you grow out of it. By no means do I grow out of it, but things kind of move around. You explore and go on different venues,
Yeah.
which is cool.
Like when ska came into my life, like
There you go.
ska's my
Yeah.
happy music. So
Exactly.
it like came into where this like hardcore punk came in, but the ska infused into like where the
Yeah.
hardcore, like, so now I had this happy side to where like when I play, like I want to like, I want to jam and I want
Sure.
it to be fast, but I want it to be happy fast. Like, and it's good, man. Like it definitely changed. Ska definitely changed my perspective on the world too. Like
There you go.
it's happy music, man. You can't not listen to it and be in a good mood.
Mhm.
And if you aren't, you're just an asshole. Like that's my opinion.
If you're at a real Big Fish concert and you're sad, you need to go
Yeah, oh
home.
my
You
God.
need
Dude,
to
that
go
was the
home.
last, I saw them 6 days before the pandemic happened.
All right.
Like,
All right.
Yeah, and them and the Big D and the kids table over at the old Crowbar. But yeah, they are so good live, man.
I saw them at the Crowbar too. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they're such nice guys too. Very good guys. And I've always had this knack, and I don't know why. And not since I've been young. Like everywhere I go, every show, I always somehow meet somebody in a band or fucking like everywhere, like
Right.
every time, almost every time, and that's what kept me going as a kid too. 'Cause I'm like, well, this is cool,
Right.
And now it's just like lucky. I went to that camp 2 years ago. Fat Mike did. Never seen the Bouncing Souls. Loved them, but like
All right.
15 years to see them. I caught the drumstick at the end of the show. Like how rad, Like there's fucking 80,000 people here, and I caught the drum. Like yeah.
Well, see, I'm the nerd that's checking out the guy's pedal board and seeing what guitar he's playing and seeing what bass he had. I'm like totally into the gear.
Oh, I
know what I
watched the
mean?
bass player the entire time.
Yeah,
That's the entire time.
And I'm watching exactly what they're doing. I'm over at the sound guy nosing in, and he's probably like, "Get the heck out of here." You know what I mean? But that's my happy spot.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
worst one probably was Scott Shiplet at Face to Face. I went to see them at a Riot Fest after show, and there was probably like 60 people, and they were doing an acoustic set.
All right.
So I'm like probably from me to you away from him the entire time. Like,
Staring at.
yeah, and he's probably like, "What the fuck is this kid doing?" I'm just watching everything he
That's
does.
right,
You know what I
that's
mean?
right.
Like,
I'm sure they get that.
no, he
you know?
does.
Yeah.
I got to talk to him a little bit after, and I was like, "Dude, I'm not being like, And I was like, I play," and he's like, "No, dude, I completely get it."
Yeah.
Like, and those guys are all like, I don't know. I like the punk rock thing too because like they're not recognized by everybody. So like
Yeah,
when they are,
yeah.
they're kind of humbled by it. They're like, "Yeah, cool,"
Mm-hmm.
instead of being like snobby about it. Like,
Right.
I don't know. Those people are snobby about it. Like, dude, I don't know. Shit could be way worse, man.
Got that right. Absolutely.
I mean, I know it could be hard having people chasing you down and stuff all the time and whatnot, but like at the same time, like it can be hard living paycheck to paycheck and not
Yeah.
having a goddamn thing either. So I don't know. I guess it's, I guess everything has its pros and cons.
Right on, man.
Like, especially like cons around here, like no musicians at all.
Nothing.
No, like that's like, again, it was good you started something because like at least you found some people, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
anything. Like I told you before, like there used to be a scene here in
I've heard of it.
Phillipsburg.
I've
Like,
heard many, many, many stories.
and dude,
Absolutely.
I was part of it, and it was fantastic. Like I said, when you were picking what bar to go to Friday and Saturday night, and what bands you were just like, who would ever
Yeah.
thought? And then it just like dissipated, like
Mhm.
to nothing. Well, to what we have now,
Right.
nothing.
It's tough. It really is. Because then there's nobody nipping at your heels trying to make you do better because you're just doing the same old hash.
Yeah.
The same old stuff.
You don't even have to practice anymore.
Yeah,
You just meet up
yeah.
with the guys, and basically that jam session you're getting paid $800,
Right.
$1,000 for, whatever. It's a paid practice,
Absolutely.
a really high paid practice.
Yeah.
Because I was playing gigs for about $25 when I was paying. play punk rock,
Lucky
man.
to
Whatever.
get gas money. Yeah, been there, man.
Pay for gas. That's cool. That's fine. It's like, I don't know. To me, it's like you're sharing a gift or something.
Yeah.
You learn, like, you know, if you really love music, you don't give a goddamn about how much you're making.
Well, I think the scene's a little backwards here too. I mean, if I were to put my 2 cents in it, seems out west, the venues are in charge of promoting what's there.
Yeah.
Where around here, the band
Has to
got to bring the people. Like
Yeah.
if you try to get a show and they don't know you, be like, well, how many people can you bring?
Yeah. That's
You know,
the
in
first
other
question.
places around, maybe not around this area, they're like, well, we can probably get about 200 people. Is that good with you? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's so ass backwards, so to speak,
And
more
why
than
wouldn't,
anything.
yeah, and it's so dumb because like, why wouldn't the venue be like, hey, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it makes more sense for the venue to be pumping this than the band because the band still has to practice and yada
Right.
yada yada. Like,
And if you're out of town, forget about it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's when I went to see Low down there from Pittsburgh Saturday night. They were like, dude, it was so nice just even having a couple people here.
Right,
That, you know what I mean? And I was like, well, you know, I did what I could, but like whatever. That was just me. But you know, some others came, but like they're like just to see familiar faces
Yeah,
over here was
yeah.
nice. And I'm like, I get it.
I think that's a part of it. I've been telling a lot of the kids too, and it might be begrudging of me, but it's not what you know, it's kind of who you know.
Especially
Because-
around here.
Especially around here, because if you're not in the scene and you're not chasing people down, or you're not friends with this person in this bar or this person in this
Or
club,
a member of this club and this club. And
you
this-
ain't getting in.
No.
You're not getting in unless you're at their door every day hounding them. And,
Well, and
you know,
you-
I did that back in the day with my rockabilly band, and we had guys that would knock down doors, and you know, we did that. But then it's like, well, why? You know, it's like we're kind of doing the wrong thing. It should be the venue saying, hey, we're going to have a band and let it rip, so to speak. And not we were doing the marketing for that bar or
Yeah.
that venue. And it's just like,
Yeah.
still makes sense.
No, and what I always hear is, well, they bring a crowd. Well, why don't you fucking try letting somebody else bring a crowd for once? You know what I mean? They
Yeah,
bring the
yeah.
same crowd. Like, it's
Right.
like, and it's the crowd that, and I'm sorry that like a lot of the other crowds don't want to really necessarily be around sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, it's literally polluting the same places with the same thing. Like,
Right.
It's like spreading the same virus.
And I think too, I was on the same spectrum. Like whenever we played the arena in my country band, would bring 60, 70 people in the arena. That's pretty busy.
Yeah, for sure, man.
But those were our family and friends. But to the bar, it's like, oh, they're bringing 50, 60 people.
Yeah.
But you go out of town, it's like 2 people. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then like, well, how many people can you bring? And it's like, we're driving an hour and a half. It's like,
Yeah.
I may be able to bring my wife if she's not working.
Right.
You know what
or
I
my
mean?
buddy might be off that night. He
Right,
can jump in and be the merch guy or
Exactly.
something. Yeah. Like, yeah. And I don't know. It's just, it's so disappointing too, because like there could still be a scene around here. Like,
Sure.
there's no reason like there can't be a band here, and here Friday night.
Right.
They just don't let it happen because you, me, and Bob, Joe, and the rest of the guys don't know the right people or do whatever the right way. Like,
Right.
and I'm not even in the bar scene anymore. Like, I don't
No, I never
drink.
was.
No.
Never was.
Oh, I was drunk when I was in my early 20s, but like and like I drank in my 30s, but like as years going on, like I had my first 2 beers a couple weeks ago. Or that was first 2 in a year and a half. I had 2 beers, and I'm just like, this doesn't even make me feel good.
Right.
Like, it sucks. I get tired and just like shitty feeling. Like, no, thanks, I'm good. So like, I don't know. I guess maybe if you're spending all that time in there, maybe it's easier too. But
Sure.
I'm not doing that.
No, I'm not beating down doors, and
No.
then you're not playing. That's the problem. You know what I mean? If you're not
Right,
out there talking to them and doing, and there are guys that do that get busy as all can be, you know. And I give it to them. I say, that's awesome. But then there, once again, I'm not naming any names, but the band that I'm talking about makes a rule: they won't play anywhere around here. Like, they'll go an hour out, and they'll pretty much do a circuit around there because they know what's going on in the area. You know, and they just don't want to be a part of that. But they're busy every weekend.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of cool to
Well,
see that.
Yeah, but like I said, look what Rich McGarvey does over in Altoona.
Sure.
You know, like
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
getting bands from Altoona. He's getting, he was getting before the pandemic. He had the Bomb Hops who were on Fat Records. Like, he's getting California bands there. Like, and I know he's not paying them thousands of dollars.
Right.
So how can he do it only 20 some miles away and we can't? And
Right.
that damn amphitheater at Coldstream that we use once a year. Like, what the hell is that for?
I think you can rent that. And I've been talking about doing some guerrilla shows out there. And honestly, this is serious, because I could also get some of the kids' bands from the YMCA there. But why not we just rent that on a monthly basis? I think it's like $50. I may not.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, but you could rent that place and just throw some
dude.
guerrilla shows down. You know
Dude,
what I
I
mean?
go house with you on that.
There
Totally.
you go.
Do you have a PA?
I have means.
Yeah, okay. No, and I have connections too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, no, let's do it. Like,
And that could be a scene in itself. I mean, obviously there's
it's
no
something,
drinking and
yeah,
it's
right.
outside, it's relaxing.
But that's a calm spot, man. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
walk down there just to sit and chill, like for no reason at all.
Right on.
You know,
Right on.
so and I know a lot of other people that do that as well. So if I walk
Mhm.
down and there was a band there, hell yeah, I'm staying. Like,
Right.
no, dude, if that's not cheap, like I'll totally go house with you on that. That
There
would
we
be
go.
great. Like, even just to go down there, like let's say me, you, and a drummer want to jam out on a song.
Sure,
You know what I mean?
sure.
Like we have it, it's there.
Just
Why
do a
not?
guerrilla show.
Yeah, like just straight up,
Yep.
whatever. Yeah,
Whoever comes, comes.
yeah. No, dude, that's great. I like it. I'm
There
in.
we go.
Yeah, yeah.
Could be the birth of something. You never know.
Yeah, at least that thing would get some use because that drives me insane all the
Yep.
time. I mean, it
Mhm.
literally bothers me.
Yeah.
I saw it was like Matt Toomey, Seth Richardson. I can't think of what their name was, and I was like, oh my god, 24, 20. It was just built at the time.
All right.
Alevla, that's what it was called. But that was literally, other than Heritage Days, the last time I seen it used, other than like
Like for the 4th of July.
yeah, or Heritage
Yeah,
Days or something like that. That's
yeah.
the last time I seen it used just for like a show.
I used it for the Y for kids for like a practice show. You know, it was
Mhm.
like a dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
And we just rented it out. And it's like, all right, invite your friends. And
So
just
who do you
have,
go to, the bro?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we should look into that for sure.
No, I'm like,
You know,
I'm
I
dead
think it's a good
serious
deal.
about that. Yeah, yeah, and summer's coming up too.
Right.
Like, what better time? And I've been playing like crazy again.
Yep.
So like, I would love to.
What could be a monthly thing? You know, just get people in the, hey, first weekend or whatever of
Yeah,
the month, there's going to be something down there to sit and listen
yeah.
to music.
And my
whatever it may.
cousin's been learning guitar too. I told you I've
There
been
you go.
jamming
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
Like that's perfect. Like, yeah, no, totally. And we'll discuss this after we're done here.
Right on.
No, that's awesome. And like maybe maybe someone will form that can nip at the heels a little bit. You know what I mean?
That's what we need, man.
And that's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Like, and it needs to be something good and like, and it's all about too, like you said about like who you know. And like with me, like, luckily I have my mom's family's really big and like pretty much
Sure.
known around here because they're teachers and yada, yada, yada.
Mhm.
So, you know, I can't walk in anywhere without being like, oh, you're Andrew's son, like everywhere I go. So like, I could never do anything wrong around here. But at the same time, like I can also work in your, you know,
Sure.
benefit
Yeah.
too, because like, oh, he's doing something, we'll stop by. It's his kids. So,
Right,
and that's definitely
right.
helped along the way. So maybe we can form our own crowd. A nicer one.
Absolutely. That's the ticket, man.
Yeah, a polite one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like polite people. I'm big on politeness, especially this week. I don't know why.
Kindness gets you far.
It,
Yeah.
it does.
You get, what do they say? You get more bees from honey or something like that.
Yeah,
I
there's
don't know.
something. I've noticed that like kindness and loyalty also get you stabbed in the back
You
really
ain't
bad.
kidding,
But
man.
yeah, loyalty is a weakness these days.
Yeah.
But I still remain loyal to people because I'm
That's
an
the
idiot.
truth. Yep.
Yeah, and I think that says a lot about people too.
Right on.
You know, it
Yeah.
really does, because especially how non-existent it is in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know, this world has definitely changed, and not for the better.
Yep.
As I've gotten older, I'm just
When
like,
something's peeking out, we just got to see what it is. You know,
Yeah.
What's the scene gonna be next?
like you
That's-
said.
that's where I'm at.
I hope we turn a good corner here, because
Mhm.
this was a dark time.
Yeah.
This was
Yeah.
this was hard on me, dude. I went to shows every month. Like my buddy Jared and I we were tackling 20 like, you know, big band
Sure,
shows a year.
sure.
You know, like, and to go from that to nothing,
Yeah.
and then like I had, you know, by February last year, before anything hit, I had my whole year bought tickets, done, ready to go.
Yeah, we did too.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
done, ready to go, like 15 shows, and then
Mm-hmm.
all gone. And I'm like, you know, and every day that was, you know that was a show day, and it was just
Right.
like another stab in the heart. Like, like it got depressing, which kind of led to this in a way. Like,
Sure.
but this has helped, and like I said, it got me back into playing, and it's cool. I feel the music again, and then like seeing it even in McGarvey's again, is just like, oh my god, it was just like, oh my god, like it was like getting a drug that you haven't had for
Yeah,
10 years, and like, oh my god.
Now, is McGarvey's Aldo's?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Rich
I've played
bought
that
it.
many times.
Yeah, I played it when it was Aldo's too.
That's when I played it, right.
Yeah, I never played it when, but Rich, like, what a phenomenal job he's done with it.
Okay,
Like, really
okay.
bringing in good bands, and just, you know, like,
And then 30 something was down there too, and there was a couple other different venues. They were the metal venues back in that day.
there was that Pellegrin's place. I
Yeah,
remember too.
Pellegrini.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, but the McGarvey's or Aldo, that was the only one over there I ever really went to.
Right,
And
right.
not just to play at, like even just to go see shows. Like, I don't know why. I like the setup there too. It's
Sure,
nice. 'Cause
sure.
you get the bar scene on one side, and on the other side's like,
That's
you
the
know,
bar.
being a show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And he just made the stage and stuff bigger there.
Okay.
And then I
Okay.
didn't know if you know that Dave Mersky, he just did that thing over in Clearfield. It's called the Upstage. I
Yeah,
hadn't
yeah, I've seen
yeah.
that a lot
Yeah, he
on
was on
Facebook. Yeah,
here
yeah.
too, yeah, and, like, that's cool, man, because that's, like, just like a DIY garage, it's like
Right, right.
yeah, like
Well, see, there's two of them. Like I said, there's one down in Shawville called the Monday Night Club.
yeah,
There's
that
a bunch of
okay.
cats that get out there and they just show up and like, all right, what are we gonna play? Which and that's cool, you know. That's
No,
kind of
that's
showing that the monster still has a little bit of
yeah, it just
teeth and is ready to do something.
it needs
You
to
know.
do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's time. It's time for Jabba to be dethroned, man, you know? Like, oh my god. But, yeah, no, but, like, definitely when we're done here, like, we should definitely look into this, I think it's a great idea. Where can, like, okay, yeah, well, we can actually pretty much wrap it here. Where can
Right on.
people find, like, information about the academy and stuff like that? Just like
Philipsburg YMCA.
okay.
We got instructors down there, and we hold lessons year round. Really half hour, 2 hour lessons, and then we also have band slots available for kids and whatnot. And what we'll have is kids that come in and practice, and we'll have an instructor there, which ends up being a coach of the band more than anything. I wouldn't want to say a manager because we both know that ugly side of the
Yeah,
scenario.
yeah.
Just a coach, be like, all right, maybe you guys shouldn't play that band, and you're not going to swear here, and you know, and kind of guide them on their way. So there's that opportunity too, where there's if there's a kid band that wants to practice, you know, $15, come on in
Yeah.
and
So,
rock
like,
out for 2
what I
hours.
told you before, would you ever consider an adult band that needed a place to
I
practice?
wouldn't look past it. We just got to see if it can work, you know,
Okay.
logistically,
Right
you
on.
know, and the sky's the limit really more than anything,
Yeah.
you know.
And adults can pay more.
Here we go.
Yeah, you know, especially when it's for themselves, you know?
Right on.
Yeah. But dude, I want to thank you for coming on. Like, this has been really cool.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, that
Thank
was
you.
cool. It was just cool running into you how I did too. Like,
Yeah,
it was just nice to see that the monster still lives within somebody else as
that's right.
well.
That's right.
But until next time, I'll talk to you in a bit. And thanks again. Until next time, I don't even know what episode or who's on or whatever because I just yeah, I don't have it together. But you know the drill. Buy the ticket, take the ride. See